episode of the Man Up Podcast, episode 32. Today we're gonna be talking about Bradley Beal's going to the Suns. I know I did a video on it yesterday, but we're gonna go a little bit more in depth in it today. And then we got the Pelicans trade Zion. Would you rather with Scoot Henderson? Because Jaedon keeps saying he's not generational, so we're gonna really get down to nitty gritty. And then we got realistic NBA draft comparisons for the top draft prospects. Before we get started with the episode, I want to ask you guys to like the video. Consider subscribing to the channel. All of our social media is on the top, as you can see. You guys give that a follow, that'd be appreciated as well. But we got Bradley Beal to the Suns. I think it was like probably like 3 or 4 o'clock. It was really surprising to me out of nowhere. I was just sitting on Twitter and it's popped up. I think I got post notifications on for Shams and Woj and all of them, and it just popped out of nowhere. Especially in the offseason, I got them on, but it popped out of nowhere. My initial reaction though, I ain't gonna lie, the Wizards they got nothing back in return. They got nothing back in return. Like Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, some second round picks, like no first round picks at all.
That's bad.
We're gonna be grading the trade a little bit later, but what was y'all initial reaction to the trade?
I remember I pulled in from work just in my driveway, before you step in that house, and I just look at my phone and I see the tweet, and I said, and I just assumed it was just the tweet announcing Beal to the Suns. I'm thinking Aiden gone. I'm thinking at least some first round picks gone. And I know Latif, you seen me tweet. I said they kept Aiden because I was so confused on how they got Bradley Beal without giving up Aiden. Not like Aiden something like superstar center or something, but you would think at the bare minimum is a deal centered around him. The Suns really don't see a future with Aiden no more, and he is still above average center in the NBA. So I thought like that was like already implied. I guess not. I see the actual package is Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, and some second round picks, and I said what? But at the same, I'll wait till you start grading the draft before I give an in-depth analysis. But when I seen that, I was like, what are the Wizards doing?
Oh yeah, this trade doesn't move me like at all. We talked about this in a little group chat. It just doesn't move me. First, you do have three offensive juggernauts in Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant. But as everybody knows, you lack depth, you lack defense. So that's just a little quick synopsis. I know we're gonna grade the trade and all that. So, but I don't know. This trade doesn't move me.
Before we even get into grading, though, I wanted to ask y'all like, does this trade make the Suns a championship contender?
I think they've always been a championship contender. And I mean, like they could have won a championship last year. Like they had a championship team. Like even with the lack of depth, a team with Devin Booker, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, and KD is a championship contender no matter what. So I think they're still a championship contender. I think they might need to like definitely trade Ayton, get some depth. But even with roster as is, they're still a championship contender to me. And I know that that Aiden is like 99% sure. I'm sure he's gonna be gone. But even roster as is, bro, team with D Book, Bradley Beal, and KD, that's a championship team to me. You're going for you're trying to win a championship. They're winning at least, even with the lack of they're winning at least 50 games. They're gonna be a top 4 seed. Now that def might come back to hurt them in the playoffs, and that might lead to them being another second round exit. But still, they're a championship contender team. Like they're aiming for a championship.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards A. You have Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, two top 10 players, and then you have Bradley Beal. I would say like top 35, top 30 player at best. I wouldn't, well, not at best. I don't really know how to judge Bradley Beal right now. But I feel like it's going to be in a way kind of a Sacramento Kings type situation. Our offense is just going to beat your offense. We're going to outscore you. They have no defense. They got a defensive coach with no defense. So I wonder how that's going to work. But you still have three top 30 players, bro, in your starting lineup. Their starting lineup looks deadly. I don't know who's going to be running the point. I guess that's going to be Campaign. But let's look at it as right now. Campaign, Bradley Beal. I don't know how like this is going to work. This is just me naming off names. Campaign, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and then Ayton. Like that's a scary starting five. I think that's going to get them to win a lot of games in the regular season. As you said, Zay, I don't know how it's going to work in the playoffs, but you don't really need too many players in the playoffs. I think teams really stick to like an 8-man rotation. I think that's gonna be fine. So I don't know. This team definitely can compete for a championship, but definitely will hurt them. I think eventually.
I don't know if y'all know, but they got back Isaiah Todd, who was a 6'10" center. He I think I remember watching him in like high school, like a few years ago. I think he was on the Trailblazers, if I'm not mistaken. Before I might be tripping, but I know they got Isaiah Todd back, and they got this dude named Jordan Goodwin, who was supposed to be like a good role player for the Wizards. So they didn't just get like Bradley Beal back; they got two other players, and that was one of the biggest things for me. I saw that they got two other players in the deal. It's like, bruh, the Wizards didn't get anything back. Like, I don't get it. But to answer the question of they're a championship contender, I can't really take them serious, honestly. Like with that lack of depth, I think it's gonna come back and hurt them in the playoffs. Also, they don't have any playmaking either, or no playmaking, no defense, no depth. I can't really take a team like that seriously. Like they have to outscore every team every single game. They have a down game for one of the players, it's a wrap. Like I feel like because if let's say Bill is capable give you 30 a night, D Boogie capable give you 30 a night, KD capable give you 30 a night. Like we've seen in the playoffs, like Bill and KD, not Bill, Booker and KD go off, and then the rest of the team not produce anything. We've seen that and them lose. Like that could be possible that three players go crazy and the rest of the team not produce anything. Like they don't have anybody. I think they have the bird rights to a few players. I think they have the bird rights to what is his name? Darius Baisley, who from the Thunder. I think got his bird rights. They have bird rights for a few players. So like if other teams offer those players, they could like re-sign them. But I don't know how the money's gonna work because I'm really like not sold on this team at all. You have 161 million tied up between KD, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, and Bradley Beal, and just 150 million between three players. I think Ayton essentially go into effect next year. So it's like with all that money tied up between three players, they have to move DeAndre Ayton. All right, they got to move DeAndre Ayton, but let's be honest. What do you really get back for DeAndre Ayton? Because I feel like he is not that good of an asset.
I feel like that thing is with Aiden, you don't need a superstar. You need an above, not even above. You need an average point guard who can pass the ball, and maybe another piece. And there's teams that might do that. The only reason that won't work, that they might not get that package, is other teams don't want to be the reason that why the Suns win a championship. I feel like Aiden itself, put him on another team. A team's going to give you an average point guard and another good bench piece. Easy. But for the Suns, do you want to be that team that gives them that point guard who can average 10 assists on that team and then give them maybe like a 6-man of the year candidate? Which I ain't gonna lie, that's probably what Aiden's like trade package is. But if you're another team, are you giving that to the Suns? The only team that might give that to them is a really young rebuilding team. Like, we're not making playoffs anyway. I don't care. So I feel like they're gonna have to make a trade with a team that's just like, bro, we not making the playoffs. So I feel like they can still make that package happen. That's all they need is above average point guard, not even above average, average point guard who can pass the ball. Because Bradley Beal, great off ball. I don't care what you say. I would watch him for a whole year play with Russell Westbrook, average like 30 points. Kevin Durant, great off the ball. Sometimes he doesn't know how good he is off the ball and is not shooting enough shots. That's another thing I think if the Suns want to win a championship, he has to realize he's the number one. I don't care about Devin Booker. Devin Booker puts up 40. I don't care. I'd rather have KD put up. When KD is dropping the most amount of points, when he is being aggressive, that's when the Suns will be at their best. And then Devin Booker is another player who I can believe can play off the ball. He played with Chris Paul and they made it to the championship. So 3 good off-ball players, put a point guard who knows how to pass the ball and some good bench pieces. That's a championship team. Will they make those changes? We don't know yet, but they definitely are setting themselves up with success. And like people are like talking about, they don't have any depth. They didn't have any depth last year. This still is a roster upgrade. You traded Chris Paul for Bradley Beal. I don't care. It's a roster upgrade to me. Now, are you going to address the other problems that you have from last year? We'll see. But in terms of Chris Paul for Bradley Beal, that's a great trade. That's a great trade for them.
Also, I think not enough people talking about like the injury concerns with Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal hasn't played more than like 50, 60 games in the last 4 years. And some of that's due to injury, some of that's just doing not being competitive because he's on the Wizards. But we've seen like the last 3-4 years, Kevin Durant got injured every season. This team is one injury away from a disaster. And that's what the risk you take. This is so high risk, low reward. It's crazy. Like if
it's high risk, high reward to me.
That's what I meant. My bad. High risk, high reward. And it's crazy because if you don't win a championship, this is a complete failure. and like literally a complete failure. You
But is
giving
it
away
though they traded Chris Paul? Or are you talking about?
no.
Or are you talking
If
about
you don't win a championship
you from the KD trade? Okay,
from the KD trade, yes,
yeah.
because you gave up your entire future for him,
Yeah,
and they have no draft picks, like none, not at all. They don't have any draft picks. They don't have any cap space. You signed a player in Bradley Beal who has a no trade clause. If he doesn't want to be moved, he will not be moved. Like, and that's the crazy thing.
and that's
I don't even know how he got that.
the thing is, bro. The Wizards really couldn't do anything. The two teams that they were talking about reports was the Heat, who don't have that many good, and they weren't trying to trade Hero. And you see that they won't do a trade if they don't get their way. They missed out on Harden because they want to trade Hero. And then the Suns, who don't have any first round picks, and it's like it's because y'all waited 5 years late to trade the man, like, and his value completely diminished. Not because he's a worse player than he was 5 years ago. He's just 5 years older, more injury prone, worse contract. Like they could have got in a big package from him. They could have. Bradley Beal's the type of player you trade, and your team gets reset, but for the future, for success. Like when you traded Russell Westbrook, Russell Westbrook and Paul George, the Thunder are on a path to success. They're getting first round picks. They got Shea. Bradley Beal's a player who could maybe not get you as good as what the Thunder got, obviously, because they traded 2 top 25 players at the time. But Bradley Beal, if they traded him 3 years ago, they could have gotten a package where they could have had 2 young players from these last 2 draft classes, and then maybe another pick till like 2027. Like they could have gotten something great if they traded him, but they traded him 3 years too late. And this is the most they could have got. So it's like, yeah, it's an L for the Wizards, but that's all they put themselves in that position, bro. They dug themselves into a hole.
All right, so let's grade the Bradley Beal trade from both sides. Just a quick explanation on why you gave it the grade, and then the grade for both teams. So we can start with Jaedon.
From the Suns, I'll just say like I'll give them a B because you did secure Bradley Beal without giving up anything much. But then again, the whole risk factor, KD's getting older. If he gets hurt, I don't think Devin Booker is going to be able to carry you to a championship. And we see the injuries that KD has sustained over the years. I don't think Devin Booker and Bradley Beal gets that done. I feel like everything has to be predicated around KD. Literally, everything going perfect is KD staying healthy, Devin Booker staying healthy, Bradley Beal staying healthy. If one of those people, I wouldn't say one of those, if KD, the main person, gets hurt, which is KD, I think that falls. So I'm going to give them a B. You want me to go to the Wizards, or everybody's just going to give their opinions on the Suns?
Go ahead, go to the Wizards.
With the Wizards, I'm gonna have to go and give them a D. But the reason why I give them a D is
My bad, Jaedon. Reset it, because your audio went kind of bad.
hear me.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go give the Wizards a D. I was thinking about giving them an F. We keep seeing them add more players to this trade. What was the last player that got added? Isaiah Todd. Yeah, they keep more people to the trade, which is them getting fleet more. But I seen Woj say something about like this is just gonna be like a rebuild through the draft. I don't know if this is like supposed to be like an OKC type thing or a trust the process 76ers type thing where they just built through the draft. That's what they're trying to do. So I'm gonna go give them a D because I think that there's some type of vision that they have. But yeah, this is looking pretty bad for them.
I'm gonna give the Suns an A+ because this isn't talking about the KD trade. The KD trade is a whole different thing. In terms of what you got for what you gave up, the trade is an A+. You gave up Chris Paul and Landry Shamet, and you got back Bradley Beal and 2 like role players. That trade is an A+ no matter what. Like if they what they got, that trade is an A+. Obviously, put it into perspective of all the other trades. Yeah, this might be best for their future, but in terms of this trade alone, this trade is definitely an A+. What was I going to say? I was going to say one more thing. Yeah, the trade was also this trade, not the KD trade. This trade was no risk. You traded Chris Paul, you got Bradley Beal. If it doesn't work, it's not like you're going to regret trading Chris Paul. You're not going to regret trading Landry Shamet. If it does work, then you got a championship. So either way, A+. For the Wizards, I give them a D+. The only reason I'm not giving them an F is because it's because of what they did before. You know, like they waited 3 years to trade him, so there really wasn't anything they could get. Obviously, I feel like they could have maybe got something better, but I mean, you got rid of the contract. That's what it was. It was a contract dump, and Bradley Beal should not be a contract dump. That's a crazy contract dump. That's a player you get first round picks for, and a young guy to start your rebuild with. So I give them a D+ because that was probably the best they can do due to them putting themselves in their own bad situation.
For the Suns, I'm gonna give them a C just because you didn't give up much. You didn't give up much at all, but you took on a $50 million contract that has no trade clause. I think that's a big thing. If you're gonna move off him in the future, you can't move off of him. Also,
you traded Chris Paul for Bradley Beal.
I understand that. Let me finish. I'm giving them a C because they didn't give up. I'm giving them a C because they didn't give up a lot. They obviously traded Chris Paul for Bradley Beal, but you took on his $50 million contract with no trade clause. You cannot move him if you want to.
Isn't Chris Paul on a $40 million contract?
No, he's not. He's not.
What is he on?
He's not. He was on he was $30 million, and then Landry Shamet was like 10.
So it's a $10 million.
Okay. Can I finish?
Okay.
The other reason I gave them a C is because Bradley Beal has been injury prone the last 4 years, so you don't even know how healthy he's going to be going forward. You got to bank on that as well. I'm not saying he's been hurt every time they get to the playoffs.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? How is the really big thing for me is the money, bro, and the no trade clause. That's the real big point for me. The money and the no trade clause. Like, bro, in 2 years, Bradley Beal is gonna be owed $57 million. He is not a $57 million player.
That's fair.
So that's why I'm giving him a C. It's because you're paying him so much money and he's not that quality of player. Now, obviously, if he leads to the championship, you're gonna bite that bullet. But it also compromises your future because you have no trade clause. I feel like KD 34. He probably got maybe 2-3 more years, maybe 3 at the max. Probably we're gonna say probably 3 or 4. Let's say 3 or 4. By the time Bradley Beal contract over, I think it's gonna be like 2026, 2027. Maybe I think. KD probably retired, so you can finally get off the contract. But if this doesn't work, you're gonna be stuck with that for a while. That's why I had to give it a C. Like it's obviously an upgrade, but I don't like the money they took in. I think it compromised them being able to get depth a little bit because you would have released Chris Paul and save $15 million. You could sign some players, and then trade Aiden and sign some more players. I think they should have built their team around Devin Booker and Chris Paul, and they put a whole bunch of depth around them, shooters, defenders like that. But I mean, getting Bradley Beal is obviously an upgrade, so I have to get him a C. I'm not gonna give them like F or nothing like that. You should have seen ESPN get him a D. So, but ESPN always wrong. For the Wizards, I'm gonna give them a D because first of all, you didn't get anything back for Bradley Beal. Also, you didn't get any picks, so it's like you can't even restart your rebuild properly. So that's why I gave them a D. To keep it short, you didn't get anything.
What pick
back
do they have this year?
Number 8. So
that's
not like they didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't get nothing back to start that rebuild. You didn't get like. It didn't got like a
they can't even start their rebuild this.
Exactly.
Like,
they really can't even, bro. Like, I think it gives them a little bit of clarity to draft who they're going to draft this year because now you have to go like best player available.
I mean, it didn't work out with Russ and Bradley. Brad should have been gone with Russ, bro.
Yeah, so like if they would have kept Bradley Beal, you could have drafted the point guard like Anthony Black or Casey Wallace to draft like a point guard to play with Bradley Beal and Kristaps Porzingis. But now you have to draft like an All-Star Thompson or whoever's the best player available there. It can't even be like a role player. You cannot draft the team for fit because you need to have the best player to start your rebuild with. And so they kind of fuck. Like usually, you start to rebuild and why is it 2 Jaedons in here? What like you see that?
I don't know, bro. I don't know what happened.
Hold on. Anyways, yeah. So usually I don't know if you heard me, but I gave them a D. You heard that part?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like they can't even start that rebuild, bro.
That's
it's like
bad.
You didn't get future picks. You got pick swaps. When they pick trash, their picks gonna be trash, bro. So it's so weird though.
It's like what were they supposed to do? Like
the reason I get them F though because you got off Bradley Beal's contract. That's the only reason I didn't get them F. And you're gonna be able to trade Chris Paul for something at least.
No,
you're not.
Chris Paul.
No, they're moving Chris Paul.
But for a second round draft pick, he's on a $30 million contract.
That's something. Shit, that's something. I'm not saying it's gonna be a first round pick. Obviously not. Nah. But like probably they don't have to waive him or trade him. And you see your Clippers in the sweepstakes for him.
Shut the fuck up. Anyways, did y'all see the wash point guard trifecta?
Yeah, I saw that.
That was funny. Even as a Russ fan, I was like, that's hilarious. I'm not gonna lie.
Let's move on to another trade that possibly may be happening in the next few days.
Get the fat boy out of New Orleans.
Allegedly, I think was it Bill Simmons? Bill Simmons is not really credible, but he did say that Jaedon might be traded by Thursday. So
I want to go first. Yeah,
we're gonna let you go first. Obviously, we're gonna
let him protect Z.
But the question is, Jaedon, should the Pelicans trade Zion?
All right, so I'm gonna answer that question in my whole spiel. So again, everybody knows. Every time we talk about Zion, I always bring up that I am the biggest Zion fan
on the planet.
When it comes to being a fan, you also have to be a little realistic. Now, as we've seen over the years, or even for the past few days, we see Zion being talked about how he doesn't have a close relationship with the New Orleans Pelicans higher up. He doesn't have a close relationship with his teammates, and then we've actually seen this for the past few years. Actually, when we saw JJ Redick first join First Take, he talked about Zion as the teammate. When we see CJ McCollum come to the Pelicans, he talked about how Zion Willamson. It was like months before he first hit up CJ, so it's some type of disconnect from the Pelicans. And then you have this drama coming on with Mariah Mills, and again, that's bad about the stuff that's the stuff that's coming out with that. That's pretty bad. But then adding to him not being able to stay healthy and produce on the court, that makes it even bigger. So even though I am a Zion fan, there's just a lot of distractions, and I think it may be best for Zion to get traded. And so I would like for him to stay a Pelican. I like the situation that they have there, but I don't know. It seems like there's a disconnect with his teammates. Possibly there's a disconnect with the higher ups. We always seen, I think his stepfather or one of his parents was talking about how he didn't want to be in New Orleans. He wanted to be in New York, all this type of stuff. So all this stuff coming out is just a testament to Zion not wanting to be in New Orleans. So I think for the Pelicans, for Zion, I think another destination may be better for him. But if he did stay a Pelican, I wouldn't be mad at it.
That's fair. That's a good take. I agree with that. Mariah Mills being the name on a NBA podcast is crazy. I would never think
I didn't hear him say that.
Mariah Mills being on an NBA podcast is hilarious. But with Zion, I don't know. The thing is, I know Latif is going to disagree. I believe in Zion. I think it could work. So it's like you trade him. I still think he's a generational talent. It's like you trade him. Maybe you trade him for like, what are they talking about? They're talking about getting like a number 2 or number 3 draft pick, right?
Scoot.
Like just imagine. Like I think Scoot is going to be really good too. Just imagine Scoot doesn't work out. Like you're just like, wow, we just traded Zion. And then you don't want to be that team who trades Zion, and then there's a man that immediately takes off. He loses 25 pounds. He gets fit, and he's healthy. And now you're just that team that traded Zion, and he goes on to win a championship with the other team. Like that'd be crazy. So I feel like the Pelicans, if they won, but one thing is, it's never gonna work if there's a disconnect with the front office. So if they can never fix that relationship, then trade him, because I think it's worth trying to fix the relationship. Start trying to get him into the gym. Limit his distractions. If he cares about basketball, if he cares about winning a ring, he's going to do that. But I don't know if he wants to do that. Maybe he's already just past New Orleans. Another thing I want to say, Jaedon, you're gonna hate me. Zion Williamson is also he's also just a loser. I'm not gonna lie. If he was not good at basketball, he'd be getting bullied. He'd be paying for Playboy magazines. He'd be paying for OnlyFans. If he was not good at basketball, he would be at a Pokemon convention trying to get women. I don't know. I just feel like the guy, like when you talk about a guy who does not like basketball, I feel like that might be Zion, and he just happens to be good at basketball, so it works out for him. But I've seen the white woman allegations at Duke, the multiple porn star allegations.
What is he doing?
Him getting a random woman pregnant. He he's just a lame dude, and I don't know, bro. I just feel like that matters, bro. That might be why he doesn't know how to talk to his teammates. Why he has no leadership qualities, bro. I don't know, but he's lucky he's good at basketball because he'd be fixing your computer at some rundown GameStop right now if he wasn't.
All right, to answer the question, if the Pelicans trade Zion, I think they should. I mean, he's only played 114 games in his first 4 years. He obviously not taking his diet very seriously. He has a whole bunch of stuff going on off the court, which has been a distraction. And it's been reported that he hasn't had a good relationship with the team. So it's time to move off of him. I think you can get another number 2 overall pick, get Scoot, another generational talent, then it suffices for it because the risk is high with Scoot, but the risk is also high with Zion. So trading for another generational talent who should pan out, who is pretty surefire, I don't think it's really that big of a risk because Zion has shown that he cannot stay healthy. He cannot stay fit. He has a lot of stuff going on outside of basketball. Not only that, he's been reported from the day one that he wanted to go play with the Knicks. Go trade him to the Knicks. Get a lot. They have a lot of assets you can get back. They have some expiring contracts you can get back. Some good role players you can get back. Build this team around Scoop. Put some shooters around him. Maybe like Emmanuel quickly coming back. Josh Hart. I know he's up for a contract. Maybe sign and trade. A whole bunch of stuff. Like I don't want Randall. They don't wish they want Randall though. But yeah. So I think they have prime reason to trade Zion. You've seen how far it is. It's been 4 years. It's not a small sample size, and you have $200 million invested into this player. So I would move off of him if I was the Pelicans.
No. I agree with you on if they should trade Zion. I'm not mad at that take. Where you lose me is saying trade him for a generational player. I believe Zion is generational. I know we're gonna get into it later. Scoot is not generational. I think he's a surefire all-star. But generational, no. Zion is generational. Scoot is not generational. Now I know you talked about the Knicks, and they're one of after consideration after we talked about it in the group chat. I do have the Knicks as one of my trade destinations for Zion. But a place that I would like to see Zion Williamson go to is Portland. I know you said that this is like a second round exit, but
It definitely is.
Honestly, I don't think so.
That's like first round exit. Dame and Zion is that first round exit.
That defense on that team will be bad, bro. Both of them can't play defense.
Right. That's a play in the game.
Let me explain. First off, I don't know if anybody remembers, but Portland is where Zion was sent to get his diet and his mind right and his training right, all that stuff. And then he went into this year healthier, skinnier, all that stuff. So I think Portland is a better destination a good destination for that region alone in itself. And then I think the pairing with him and Damian Lillard could go very well. I think the pick and roll would be good. I think Zion can take pressure off of Dame. Dame could play a little bit more off ball. I think Zion is a great passer. His defense is terrible. I think defense would be a questionable thing, but pairing him with Dame, I think that's a plus. And then you have your pieces like I don't think you would have to give up Shaedon Sharp. Probably have to get rid of Simons or something like that. But I like that as a pairing. Then I want to go into the Knicks. As you guys were talking about, he'll be able to play with RJ. Who's a great point guard. I don't think we've seen
Jalen Brunson.
No, yeah. Jalen Brunson and then RJ, his friend. So yeah, I think that'll be a good pairing. And then you get rid of Julius Randle. I think if Julius Randle plays better, Julius Randle plays to his capabilities, it's possible that the Knicks could have got over the hump this year and made it to the finals or something. I think Zion Williamson is a better version of Julius Randle in almost every aspect. So you pair him to Jalen Brunson, a true point guard, something that Zion hasn't had since Lonzo Ball. But Lonzo didn't really play well with the Pelicans. So you pair him with Jalen Brunson. You have him, his camaraderie with RJ. I think that's a good recipe for success.
No, I like what you said though about especially some of the team options you gave. I think he'll do good in New York, but it's just like, bruh, having someone that's 6'6", 280, 270 even, it's like it's not a recipe for success. It's not that at all. He needs to get down to like 250. If we being honest, like you see, like LeBron is 6'8", 250. He's like he relies on athleticism so much, and having like the impact of jumping that much all that time with that much body weight he's gonna keep getting injured, bro. He's gonna keep getting injured, and it's like a pattern now. It's his knee, it's his toe, it's his hamstring, anything like that. I just like I'm not gonna lie, I don't see the vision. Like I don't see him getting healthy like out of nowhere and just not getting injured a lot. Like why do you think that is gonna happen? Like even we see Joel Embiid now, who is 7 feet, 300 pounds. You see him continue to get injured year after year in, year out. And you see him going to the playoffs getting injured year in, year out. Why would you think it should be something different for someone like Zion? So that's why I don't see the risk of even trading for him. I mean, it's a high reward. It's high reward. High risk, high reward with Zion. Because obviously he's a top 20 player in the NBA when healthy. But we got to keep saying when he's healthy because he's only played 114 out of 328 games that he can possibly play in the NBA. It's like, I don't see – do you actually see him getting healthy, Jaedon?
I do see him getting healthy. I think
why though?
I think it's a scenario thing, bro. At high school, we didn't know him as somebody being somebody who was injury prone. You go into his college days. I think his physique was like pause. His physique was perfect, bro. Like, he didn't look like he had too much body fat on him. Like,
he got injured in college though.
He did get injured in college, but I feel like that was like a once. It was
a freak accident.
Yeah, like it was weird. So I'm not gonna blame that on him. But when he was in college, his body fat seemed low. He just seemed like a guy who was just bigger. He added a lot of muscle, but then when he came into the league, it was like you could see his neck was all fat and all that type of stuff. So I think it's the scenario. I think it's the situation where he's in. It's the setting. A lot of stuff going on with like personal life. I think he changed the scenery. He stops focusing on. Sad to say, Mariah Bills. Stop focusing on that. Doesn't have. I know you said there's good food everywhere, but bro, it's New Orleans, bro. Like it's NOLA, bro. Let's be real. So I think if he goes to a different scenario, he stops eating all that good food. He stops worrying about that. Then he could get healthy, bro. I think it's very possible. A lot of people are in Zion's corner also too.
I just don't. I never like before he came in the league. I never thought he was going to be like. I know he was a generational prospect. I'm never going to take away from Zion. I know he'd probably be a good player. I never thought like. Just I had a lot of injury concerns. Let's just say that I was watching like people talk about him and how we've never seen someone like that ever. It's unprecedented. Even with Wemby, like we've never seen someone like that. And so when we get to the NBA draft comparisons, I'm gonna say someone that was injury prone in their career, and I'm gonna say why we may see a short career from Wemby. Like I think we could see like a 7-year, 10-year prime for Wemby, or like for Zion. He started his career injured, and I don't know why the trend would even change. Like this may be one of them Greg Oden to a larger degree type situations, one of them Brandon Roy type situations. So hopefully though he gets healthy though. I don't want to wish it on him. I don't see it. I don't see nothing changing. It's good food everywhere. It's good looking girls everywhere. It's a whole bunch of distractions everywhere, and especially you send him in New York. New Orleans is a small town, like it's a small market compared to the rest of the NBA. I know it's still a big city with a lot of distractions, but you're going to send them to New York with a whole bunch of other distractions. Like, Portland is pretty, like, nothing really goes on there, so I can see that. Portland's low-key.
But it's also how much you like basketball is what's going to really keep you on focus. What I mean by that is, like, yeah, New Orleans, they do probably, best state-wise, they probably top 5. New York is also as good as with the food, and if he doesn't like basketball or he's not focused on basketball, even if it's not food, something else is going to distract him. You could put him in Portland. If he's not focused on basketball, he might be on Fortnite every day. Like, not, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just might be, it's all matters how much they can focus on basketball, because you have other players who played their whole careers in New York and big cities and Houston and San Antonio and all these Dallas and all this other states. And because they're focused on basketball, because they want to win a ring, these things did not distract them. So, yeah, you can move them away from New Orleans, from the great food and fried chicken everywhere, but if you put him in Portland and he's not focused on basketball, the same thing is going to happen. It might be to a different degree. It might be with something else, but he's just not going to be focused on basketball. So I think number one is getting him to focus on basketball. Then you can talk about, all right, trade destinations. But saying, because he's in New Orleans, that's why he can't focus on basketball, that just means he's not focused on basketball. That means he doesn't want it for real. He has to want it first before you can fix him.
That's fair.
Yeah, the biggest thing he probably needs to work on his diet. You can't stop yourself from getting injured. You can't stop yourself from getting injured for real, like on a serious note. You're gonna get injured. Like if you get injured, that's not your fault. Like with Derrick Rose, stuff like that, those freak injuries, those not his fault. But you can't control your diet. And if it's something like that, like I've listened to people say like hamstring injuries can be contributed to your diet, like how you recover from that and stuff like that. And so it's just like he's not focused. He needs to get focused because they are paying him $200 million. And if I'm a front office, I'm a GM. If I see you not focused and I owe you $200 million, you got to go. And that's why they said to trade him. But let's move on to another prospect that other people have called generational, who I think is a generational guard prospect. And Scoot Henderson, me and Jaedon had this conversation earlier in the group chat, and I saw it. I responded to some no ceilings on Twitter, and that's how this conversation even sparked. But we're gonna be doing Would You Rather Scoot Miller edition. Scoot Miller. We're gonna be doing Would You Rather Scoot Henderson edition with some other guard prospects in the last 25 years. So the first name up is Luka Doncic.
Oh, Luka. I'd rather have Luka. And again, I know I said earlier, I know you're probably gonna bring this up. If it was me in a draft, like what I was knowing back then, like I even watched the podcast with Paul George and Jaren Jackson. Nobody knew about Luka for real. So would I have probably selected Scoot over Luka? Probably just off of the sheer thing of me not knowing about Luka. But then you have to factor in him being in a great league and then winning MVP at what age? What was he, like 17?
16. He won MVP at 16.
Yeah, so you have to factor that in. I think Luka is a better prospect than Scoot Henderson. There's not really too much to be said that alone.
What's the question is, who would I rather have as a prospect?
As a prospect. Who would you rather have as a prospect?
I think I'm gonna disagree. I think knowing what we know, once again, I don't think anybody saw this from Luka. Like even when everybody was booing Luka, I was like, nah, he's gonna be decent. He's gonna be decent. That's what I said. I think he's gonna be a top 10 player in the league by his third year. No, I don't think anybody did. So if it is going based on prospect, yeah, him winning Euro League MVP at 16 that's like cool, but I'm most likely still gonna select Scoot. Scoot would have been a number 1 draft pick in a lot of classes.
Not in 2018.
I said in a lot. I said in a lot. I didn't say that, but I'm just saying a lot of classes.
No. Are you taking Scoot over Andrew Wiggins in that draft? No.
In the 2013 draft?
Yes. Oh, that was 2014.
2014. No, you can't.
I would.
No, you wouldn't have. Andrew Wiggins was supposed to be the next Kobe. No, you weren't.
Anyways, can I get to my answer about Luka?
Okay. Sure.
I'm going to take Luka. He was EuroLeague MVP at 16. He was an amazing prospect. Looking back at it, I'm going Luka.
So would you have took him number 1 back in 2018 when he got drafted?
No. Oh, Luka?
Yeah.
Who was in that draft? DeAndre Ayton, Trae Young. Oh, I definitely would have took. You know how I feel about DeAndre Ayton. I never believed in him.
I'm talking about as a prospect. You have took Luka 1. No, you wouldn't have. So in your mock draft,
I knew about him being a EuroLeague MVP. I saw him play against Russ Westbrook at like 16. I knew about him.
So you were GM. You were taking him number 1.
Yes, bro. I watched him. I knew he was an amazing passer. You know, I love. Anyways.
Oh, you just knew it, huh? You could just see the.
No, wait. Hold on.
You're a liar. You're a liar. That's bad.
Hold on. Okay. Let me see. That's not even a question here, though. That's not what we talking about.
But I asked you a new question. Would you have taken number 1?
I'm not gonna lie. Probably not.
Okay, then stop.
Okay, but it wasn't gonna be Aiden though. It wasn't gonna be Aiden. It wasn't gonna be Aiden.
We point out the fact that you literally just lied.
Lied.
Probably did see him play against Russell Westbrook, but he wasn't a focal point in that game. I don't even remember.
Yes, he was.
No, he was not. Oh my gosh,
bro, he had like 15 points that game. We can go back and check it, bro.
Oh my gosh, you're literally disgusting. Like no, you're brought out of thin air, bro. Because you've seen it on like some YouTube video somewhere. Like literally, stop.
What, bro? Everybody knew he played against Russell Westbrook in 2016.
So when the whole Luka thing was happening, like when it was him about to get drafted, you're like, oh, I'm high on him because he's a EuroLeague MVP and because he played against Russell Westbrook in 2015.
Not the Russell Westbrook part, the EuroLeague MVP, and also like his passing ability and shooting ability and way he commanded the offense. Yes, I didn't say that's not even a question I was posing. I'm saying looking back as a prospect, like just looking back.
All right, no, I'll let you have it. You got it.
Anyways, next, who we got next? Next up, we got D Rose.
No.
Well, taking Scoot over him.
Are we asking you like, who would you rather?
Oh no. I'm taking Derrick Rose.
As a prospect, yeah, I'm taking D Rose.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Scoot as a prospect. I think he's like a better version of Derrick Rose when he was a prospect. I think he's stronger. I think he's the same level of athlete. I think his mid-range game is as good as Derrick Rose or not better. So I'm gonna take Scoot. And Scoot played better competition at a younger age than Derrick Rose and played well. So I'm going to take
Derrick Rose took that team to
the national championship.
Yeah, that Memphis team to a national championship. He's a Chicago legend. I know that doesn't.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
The only outlier that you have when comparing him to Derrick Rose is he's stronger. I mean, first off, Derrick Rose was able to put pressure on the rim. He was good at the pick and roll. He was a good playmaker. He was a good mid range. His pull up was elite. Like I don't know why.
Scoot has a good mid-range pull-up too.
I know.
They're very similar prospects, but what separates them? What separates D Rose from Scoot? Why would you take him over him?
Him bringing his team to national championship.
Bro, he can't bring his team to a national championship because he didn't play in college. At 17-year-old, he was playing against grown men.
Okay, cool. But the thing, I get that, and again, what he did was very impressive. What was it? 17 points per game. I think almost 7 assists, 5 rebounds against grown men at the age of what, 17, 18? Like that is amazing. You're going against grown men. Cool. But I'm taking Derrick Rose over.
Why? You're not giving me the only explanation you've gave me that he went to the national championship, which Scoot cannot do because he's not in college because he's playing against grown men.
Bro,
what separates them?
Your only difference is he's stronger. What is being stronger?
No, I did not. I said another difference. He has a more NBA ready body with the same tools that D Rose has. He has that great mid-range club as well. And you can argue that he's a better playmaker. You can argue that he's a better playmaker than D Rose. Also, I think his tools on the defense side of the ball are better than D Rose as well. And his hands are bigger than D Rose's, and he played against better competition. So why are you separating them? Come on. What are we doing?
Going to the national championship. That's my reason.
Brother, he didn't play in college. He could not do that.
Cool.
Have you seen, bro, like his measurables are better than D Rose. Like D Rose is like what, 6'2", 6'3"?
6'2", 6'3", yeah.
Scoot is 6'4". He got measured again. He's 6'4". He's stronger. Like
being stronger have to do as a point guard. Like how was that?
What do you mean? What are you talking about? Especially when someone is driving to the basket, he doesn't rely on his athleticism as much. He doesn't rely on his athleticism as much as D Rose. Yes or no? Okay then.
Wait.
No.
I can't say that. I can't.
Isaiah, can you chip in right here? Is Jaedon giving me any reason why I'm saying is wrong? Because he's not giving me one.
I get what he's saying about. I guess Jaedon, the reason might be D Rose might be a better leader.
What are we talking about?
He can't talk about leading the team to the championship. You got to be a leader to do that.
Oh God, because that's the only thing you're not. I'm not tripping. He's not
being a better leader. You got to be as a point guard. You have to be a leader, and D Rose proved that he was a leader in college.
Can we be for real? Let's be for real.
Is he giving me a real outlier besides being stronger? First off, I don't.
Bro, I just say his measurables are better. Have you seen his? You don't do like. Have you seen his hands?
Let me ask you a question though. Derrick Rose being athletic, that was a huge part of his game, and he used that to his advantage. I believe Scoot does that as well. But as you see, even in his rookie year in the Celtics, that Celtics series, we saw him show off his floater a lot. We saw him showcase his mid range a lot. The thing is, he was just quick. They both put pressure on the rim. I think athletic wise, they're both probably on the same level. I think Scoot probably jumps higher or something like that. I don't think he's as quick as Derrick Rose. They have a lot of the same qualities, but to say that strength is an outlier, I don't know. And then to say that Derrick Rose uses more athleticism, they're both just very athletic, so that works in their favor. I don't think.
I said Scoot doesn't rely on it as much. Also, on the defensive side of the ball, Scoot is better.
Wait, if you say because of defense, I'll give you that, but I don't think Derrick Rose was a slouch on defense.
I didn't say he was a slouch, but Scoot is going to be I think, an above average defender, especially like when you look at his measurables. Like I said, he's going to be stronger, which that matters on defense. Yes or no? Being strong matters on defense. Having very big hands matters on defense. I think his wingspan is a little bit longer than Derrick Rose as well. And again, like I said, he played against grown men at 17 and 18. He dominated those grown men. So that's something that Derrick Rose did not do. When he as a prospect. So I think it's this year he dominated. Yes.
I don't think he dominated. He played very well. I don't think
for 18-year-old, I'm saying he's dominated. But anyways, I just feel like is there not an argument that can be made that's is the
it could be an argument. I don't think
okay. It's not I'm not saying it's clear for Scoot. I'm not saying it's clear for D Rose. I would personally take Scoot. I also think both of them have great touch around the basket. So that's something that also they're very, very comparable. He's the best point guard prospect we've seen really that's like a 6'2 small point guard that we've seen since D Rose.
No.
Who else?
Markelle Fultz.
Markelle Fultz is like 6'5". What are you talking about?
Exactly. So we're talking about NBA.
Anyways, before you even go into that, let's get into it.
I'm choosing
Hold on. The next person up is Markel Fultz.
I'm choosing Markel Fultz over Scoot Henderson as a prospect. First off, if we're talking about NBA ready body, Markel Fultz had an NBA ready body. Markel Fultz was a great athlete. He put a lot of pressure on the rim. His defensive potential was very high. He was shooting 41% from the 3-point line, something that Scoot isn't doing. He had a good mid range pull up. Everything that Scoot has, Markel Fultz had. So in that case, I'm taking Markel Fultz, and he was bigger. Markel Fultz was bigger. He had a lot of defensive potential. He had 41% from the 3-point line, averaging 24 points, like 5 assists or something. He had playmaking potential. All that. His team was terrible. So I'm taking Markel Fultz over him. Again, I know you're gonna factor in him playing grown men and all that stuff, which is cool. That makes a lot of sense. But what Markel Fultz was doing was absolutely crazy. I think he's a better, way better, not way better, but I think he's a better prospect. I think you could say Markel Fultz was the best point guard prospect since Derrick Rose. I think that should be the real conversation.
You go, Latif.
I think you're a lot higher than Markel Fultz than I was. I had Lonzo in my first overall pick. On God, I did. I had Lonzo in my first overall pick, and that's not cap. I literally had Lonzo as my first overall pick, and that's not. I'm not even saying that because Lonzo really didn't pan out in the league. But I had Lonzo. I didn't even watch a lot of Washington basketball. Like who was watching Washington basketball? I was on the Lonzo UCLA. That was my favorite player coming out of college. I was on Lonzo. Who was third in that draft? Jason Tatum. I was on that, but I had Jason Tatum as number one. I had Lonzo as number one. Anyways, I'm going to go with Scoot because of the age thing again, the level of compensation thing again, the generational athlete that he is. That's what I'm gonna keep it that simple. To be honest, I get what you're saying though. You made a good point about the 3-point percentage, being a better shooter. He had really no holes in his game, but I think Scoot was a lot better playmaker than he is. So yeah, that's really it though. But actually, Markel Fultz really developed into a better playmaker in the NBA. He's a decent playmaker now. You go ahead, Zay.
I'm probably choosing Fultz just off the pure shooting numbers. Probably like just off the NBA point guards. Even though that's something that you can always develop later. Like you can't train somebody how to jump high. I mean, you can, but you can't really like give somebody those athletic skills. But when it comes to just shooting, sometimes it's like some players got it and some players don't. Now, if Scoot learns how to shoot NBA 3-pointers and he's consistent, that's a whole different thing. But as a prospect, not having to teach your point guard how to shoot a basketball is a very big deal to me. So I'm probably taking Fultz over Scoot because of that.
The next player up is Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons all the way.
Yeah, Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons was deemed as the next LeBron. Ben Simmons,
Magic Johnson.
literally, Ben Simmons didn't have a shot in college at all. I don't even think he attempted a 3-point shot. Average 2011 and all this stuff. He had a documentary come out. He didn't even need college basketball, bro. Ben Simmons was deemed the next LeBron. Even LeBron said that. You know what? Ben Simmons may be the next LeBron. So that alone, and then the size, the playmaking, the defense. I think he's better at defense as a prospect. I think he's a better playmaker as a prospect. Even though he didn't shoot, well, I won't say better scorer, but I think Ben Simmons is easily a better prospect than Scoot.
I'm gonna have to agree with you. I'm gonna go with Ben Simmons as well. I think he was elite as a playmaker. He was elite defensively. He was elite rim threat. So I'm gonna go with Ben Simmons. I just think he was the next LeBron. He did everything. He did things better than Scoot. Like he was a better defender. He was a better playmaker. He was a better finisher. He was 6'10". Like I'm gonna go Ben Simmons. That one is kind of like low key clear. Just because of the size, just of the defense, the playmaking ability. He was supposed to be the next LeBron. He was looking like that for the first couple years of his career. I think the last name we got is John Morant.
Scoot.
Yeah, Scoot.
I'm gonna go Scoot.
I'm gonna go Scoot too. I think the defense thing is better. He was younger than Ja. He was younger than Ja. He played more competition than Ja. I like his physical measurables more than Ja. So I'm gonna go Scoot. Clear on that one.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But this is where I sadly head out. Podcast. It was great talking to you guys.
All right. Moving on to realistic draft comps for the top prospects in this class. So I'm gonna give you a name and you give me a draft comp for that player.
All right, I got you.
All right, first we're gonna start off with Victor Wembanyama.
All right, with Wemby, I have him as a Kristaps Porzingis with more finesse. What their Browns? What is Kristaps Porzingis like 7'2", 7'3"? And then you got Wemby, who's what 7'4", 7'5". I think he didn't have. I don't think Kristaps had the handle that Wemby has, but you saw him. He was kind of like he kind of revolutionized, not revolutionized, but we seen KP kind of put like the modern big man. Like he was dunking. He put not a lot of pressure on him. He was a great rim protector. He could shoot all that stuff. So I think Wemby is a Kristaps Porzingis with more finesse. I think he's going to be better than Kristaps Porzingis. But Kristaps Porzingis is no slouch, by the way. So this isn't a knock on Wemby, but I think that's a great comparison. When you look at their size and then their ability.
My comparison is the modern day Ralph Sampson, just be the same size, being a rim protector, being athletic as well. Ralph Sampson couldn't hit the three like Wemby or put the ball on the floor like Wemby, but I think it's a modern day Ralph Sampson, being that size and being that versatile as a defender and a athlete. So I'm gonna go Ralph Sampson. He also had a good mid-range J as well. Not he couldn't stretch it out to the three, but that was just a product of him like not being the time he played in. I was talking about earlier. Ralph Sampson, after like his first 3-4 years, got very, very injury prone. Very, very injury prone.
Yeah,
like it was a year he played like 10 games, bro. So yeah.
That was last year.
Huh?
That was his last year. He was like
Yeah, so that's my comp for Wemby. I've seen that thrown around a lot, but I've seen like Anthony Davis thrown around for Wemby. I've seen Kristaps Porzingis thrown around Wemby. I think Kristaps Porzingis is a good comp. I think Wemby just could put the ball on. I think Wemby's a better rim protector than him. I think Wemby is a better ball handler than him and shooter. We're not shooter now.
Mobile than Anthony Davis, I would say. But
I don't know about that. Before the injuries, Anthony Davis used to actually put the ball on the floor and make stuff happen. He's not a good shooter than Wemby, but he's definitely a better rim protector, and he's definitely he was like fluid. He's a very fluid big. So I see the comparisons.
frame matters too, though. I mean, I know Anthony Davis,
He was skinny coming out.
Yeah, he did put a lot of size on, but I'm not too mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
All right, the next player is Scoot Henderson.
Scoot, Derrick Rose. We already know. We talked about it earlier. Both have elite mid-range pull-up. Both very athletic. So yeah, I don't think there's too much to say. We talked about it in this episode. I think that's where you're probably gonna go with it.
Your volume went down a little bit, Jaedon.
Oh, where did you not hear me?
No, I heard you the whole time. I'm just saying, like you're a little quieter than you were.
Oh, my bad. I say Derrick Rose. We talked about it earlier in the podcast. Elite mid-range pull-up, very athletic, puts pressure on the rim. I'm going with Derrick Rose here. I think that's where you're going to go to.
I'm not going to go Derrick Rose just because you went Derrick Rose. So for Scoot, I'm going to say Russell Westbrook. I think he's Russell Westbrook 2.0, had a lot of attributes that he had. Good mid-range pull-up, great athlete, good on the defense side of the ball, and a good playmaker. So I think either Russell Westbrook or Derrick Rose is pretty accurate for Scoot. Next up, we got Amen Thompson.
Now this may turn a few heads. I don't know why you're looking down. You probably looking at your phone or something.
I was looking at my phone.
Yeah, I got Amen Thompson as rookie year Michael Carter Williams, and
no, I was thinking about that. It's just like he's so much of a bad athlete. Like it's not even close.
Yeah, that's what I said. Way more athletic than him, but also can't shoot and is a great playmaker. Michael Carter Williams, his rookie year, was a phenomenal playmaker. I witnessed him kind of carve up Derrick Rose that time that they played against each other. You can go look back at his NBA debut. He made insane passes. He was playing excellent defense, got many steals, long like Amen Thompson. I think they're both the same height, but the only thing that separates them is the athletic ability. They both can't shoot. Hopefully, Amen's trajectory is better than Michael Carter Williams' career played out. But I'm gonna go with rookie year Michael Carter Williams. He was a dog that year.
I'm gonna go with Sean Livingston, but he's like a lot more athletic. I think Sean Livingston had a problem shooting the ball as well, but I think he's a little bit better playmaker than Sean Livingston as well, and a little bit better on defense. But like Sean Livingston was a great prospect coming out his class as well, so I'm gonna go with Sean Livingston. That's probably the closest thing. It's really hard to comp for Osir and Amen because they're so unique as prospects due to their athletic ability, due to their size, and also they're the sort of not good at the weaknesses because they can't really shoot, and so it's hard to compare them to people that 6'7" that can shoot and play make and defend because they can't. That's a big glaring hole in that game. So I'm gonna go like for Ahmed Thompson, I'm gonna go like a lot more athletic Sean Livingston. That was my comp, and Sean Livingston was pretty athletic before he got injured too.
Yeah, he's that comp.
Mind you, he's from Illinois, so gotta shout give him some Illinois. Some love. Next up, we got Brandon Miller.
I feel like you're gonna get mad at me with this, but I said a tighter handle MPJ. I know you always talk about his handle, but I think for his size, he showed signs where he did have the ball on the string. I know you said that it could be better, but I see Brandon Miller as a knockdown 3-point shooter. I think his defense is going to be better than Michael Porter Jr.'s. I don't think people did say that his defense did get better in the finals. I still think that it was a glaring weakness. He also didn't play that well, but I think they both have similar games. I think Brandon Miller will be a better player because MPJ's biggest weakness is not being able to put the ball on the floor like that for real, and then that just kind of limits him to being a 3-and-D guy with no D, but he is a great shooter. So I'll say Brandon Miller with a tighter handle.
For Brandon Miller, I'm gonna say Danny Granger, who's a knockdown shooter in the Pacers. Really good as a catch and shoot player, and can also handle the ball a little bit. Obviously, people have been compared him to like Brandon Ingram, but I feel like Brandon Ingram's mid-range game and overall fit for the game was better. I also think Brandon Miller probably be a better defender than Brandon Ingram to a certain extent. So my comp for Brandon Miller is Danny Granger. His early years on the Pacers, he was all-star. I think Brandon Miller could be that level of player as all-star as well.
Yeah, I think
go ahead.
All-star for sure.
Yeah, for sure. The last player we got is Cam Whitmore.
I don't have a comp for him, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it was hard for me to gauge what Cam Whitmore is. So I don't know. Maybe if I hear you say what your comp is, I could probably think of something or probably agree with you, but I don't have a comp for him.
For Cam Whitmore, I had OG Anunoby. I feel like he has that versatility on defense. He's a great attacker of the basket. Also, OG Anunoby showed like levels of creation ability this year for Toronto, and I think Cam Whitmore showed a little bit of that in college. Neither one of them are good playmakers, so that's why I comped him to OG Anunoby. I think he'd be elite on both sides of the ball. OG Anunoby is a pretty good 3-point shooter. I think Cam Whitmore could develop into that too. A 3-and-D guy. So that's my comp for Cam Whitmore.
Cam Whitmore have like the length and the size as OG? I know Cam is a big player, but like I feel like length has to do with a lot of OG Anunoby's success.
I think so OG Anunoby is 6'7".
Pause.
You said what?
I said he's also very long. Pause.
Let me go look at. I'm just gonna go. Look. Let me see his wingspan. Well, he's always saying right here is he's 6. He's 6'8" with a 6'8" wingspan. So I think OG Anunoby is a lot longer than that.
Yeah, I could be tweaking though, but I think.
I mean, that's for like a physical standpoint, but yeah, OG got a 7'2" wingspan. So I mean, yeah, from a physical standpoint, I get it, but like as far as player, I think OG's a great attacker of the basket. I think he's developing as a shot creator, and he's great on defense. So I think Cam Whitmore could be the same thing. He's a good attacker of the basket, can really play make. OG can really play make. Both of them can knock down a three. So I don't besides like the wingspan a little bit longer, and that was just like off NBA.com. I don't even know if that's official because I feel like it's really I'm not really convinced that Cam Whitmore wingspan is the same.
I mean, Cam. When we talk about Cam Whitmore's size, we talk about like his like big body, bro. Like I don't.
OG big too.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying I don't see him as like a big body.
His wingspan. Oh no, his height is he's 6'6" with a 6'8" wingspan.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't really know, but I got a question for you. We look at Wemby, we see generational. We look at Scoot, some people see generational, but I see a surefire all-star. I think that's still good. And then we look at Brandon Miller, we see a surefire all-star. And then I think we see that with Amen Thompson. What do you think about Cam Whitmore? I feel like his ceiling is like, I wouldn't say a role player, but I don't really see an all-star in the cards, bro. That's just me.
No, I think he could develop into an all-star player. But I feel like that's his ceiling. I don't see him as I don't think he's gonna be the best player for a franchise. I don't think he's gonna be one of those players. I think he can develop even more as a shot creator. We saw that Villanova this year. He was developing that shot creation. But he's not a good playmaker. He's good on defense though. I think he could be like at the least a 3-and-D guy with a little bit of creation ability. But I think at his height, he could be an all-star level player. I don't think like an MVP, nothing like crazy like that, nothing like that. But like all-star level player is his ceiling for me. So I like Cam though. But I think he'd be a very integral piece of a championship team. That's what I'll say.
I'll give out of these 5, I think that he has the lowest floor for sure.
You said he has the lowest floor?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Lowest. No. I think he has Loki a higher floor than Amin, but his ceiling is lower.
I don't know, bro.
No, because Amin is boom or bust. If like Amin is boom or bust, Cam Whitmore his floor is pretty high, man. He just doesn't have that high of a ceiling like as Amin. But that was episode 32. Thank you guys for watching. If you're still here, follow the TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave a like on the video. It'll help a lot. Get our videos in the algorithm. Continue to watch us. We just had 260 subscribers. The goal is 500 subscribers. Oh my God, 500 subscribers before the end of the summer. I'm gonna continue to say that and put it out in the air, manifest it. Hopefully help us get to that. That was episode 32. Like 4 more.